Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're checking out another build. This is the Stamplar PvP build. And just something a little different. I don't play a lot of Stamplar, so this is not your typical meta-ish build. I'm not using heavy armor or Ravager or Bone Pirate. I tried something just a little bit out of the ordinary, but for me it's fun, it suits my playstyle. The main focus of this build, which maybe you can figure out from the name, is it's focused on crit. So crit percentage and crit hit damage. And that's something that the Templar actually specializes in. So the build's a lot of fun to play. It's fast, it hits hard, it has good healing and survivability. And I think it's going to get even better when Somerset is available for us on console. So yeah, check it out. See what you think, and then keep an eye out on my channel for more updates in the future. Thanks for watching. Okay, let's start with the stats on our Stamplar. 10,000 Magicka, 17,000 health. That, of course, goes up with Battle Spirit, so you'll be sitting at about 20,000 in PvP. 32, almost 33,000 stamina. 1500 stam recovery is not the best, but we do amplify that a bit with Repentance. Let's buff up the weapon damage on our main bar. Gets us close to 3000 weapon damage. We do have a weapon damage enchant on the back bar, so you'll be sitting at about 3400 most of the time. Weapon critical buffed with jabs, about 70%, so that's good. That's one of the focuses of this build. And then the resistances look good on the front bar, about 20,000 on the back bar. We've got defending, and we've also got our defensive rune. Brings us up to 29,000 and 27,000 respectively, and about 2,400 crit resist. 64 points into stamina. I did choose the red guard for this build just to do something different. Orc would be probably a better choice because you get more health. If you go with red guard like I did, you will get some extra sustain, but your health will be lower. So what I did was I just used a health enchant on my armor, just to bring it up another 1,000 to make it more manageable. We've got the Thief Mundus to bring our crit up more, Dubious for the drink, and then for potions we're doing speed potions that also boost stam and stamina recovery. Let's check out the sets next. We've got 5 pieces of the Fortified Brass set. This is a crafted set from Clockwork City, and it's pretty good to run on medium armor builds because it gives you a lot of physical and spell resistance. Basically as much or more as if you were running heavy armor, but then by running this in medium, you get all the medium armor passives. So we are getting, like I said, the tankiness, and then a lot of extra crit bonus, which is what we're focused on. Extra movement speed, stamina recovery, stamina reduction, extra weapon damage. So the bonuses on medium armor are super good for no CP. I'm all about medium armor, no CP builds. And I think Fortified Brass, just adding the extra tankiness, plays really well. I use the set on my Stam Sork as well. So 5 pieces of Fortified Brass, medium. Second set, playing off that crit percentage idea, is Leviathan. So it has 1 stamina bonus, and then the rest is weapon crit. So again, boosting weapon crit as much as possible. This is what helps us bring us to about 70% overall crit percent. And then for the Monster Helm, Celine's is a really nice option. If you don't like Celine's, you could do Troll King for better survivability. But I like the Celine's, the 15k extra burst damage. It just helps the build overall finish enemies off. I like that it has a big radius, so even if you miss with it, it's going to push your opponents back a little bit. It's going to force them to regroup because they really don't want to get hit with this. The proc rate is good, the 4-second cooldown is really good. The fact that you have so many attacks going out with jabs means you'll be proccing this almost non-stop every 4 seconds. In terms of weapons and traits, Nirnhound main hand is really strong. You can see you get an extra about 250-300 weapon damage out of a Nirnhound gold weapon. I went with the shock enchant on here just to proc that minor vulnerability once in a while, 8% more damage. Offhand, the best trait I think would be infused for this build, but I didn't have an infused, so powered is just whatever. Sharpened would probably be better, precise would be better. This is just what I have. I have the axe. I would like to go dual daggers. Next patch in Somerset, I'll probably be able to do double daggers. So that's what I'll be looking at. And then for the back bar, we've got a two-hander. We went with defending just for the extra tankability. And we've got the weapon damage enchant on that one. Get as much impen trait as you can. I have 6 impen and then 1 well-fitted just to round it out. Our jewelry is the Leviathan. I've got 1 stam recovery and 2 weapon damage on those. And then, I don't think I mentioned it, but I'm using a absorb stamina enchant on the offhand. This would be even better if it was infused, but 327 stamina back. That plays off our red guard passive. 792 stamina back, so you're getting more than 1,000 stamina back every 5 seconds just by attacking, basically, light attacking. So then let's look at our skills on the front bar. Running slashes, this is a dot, and reduces movement speed. It's combined with a heavy attack, you'll do a lot of damage quickly. Steel Tornado, I threw this in for Battlegrounds just because you'll frequently get a lot of enemies around you with low health, and this does bonus damage, execute damage actually. So since we don't have an execute on the build, it kind of acts as an execute in AoE. It's really nice to have. Resolving Vigor, this is all heal over time. Always keep that running. Got Biting Jabs. This is nice because it also buffs our weapon crit by 10%, so make sure you always use that. And then we've got Binding Javelin. This is our CC and stun knockback. And then we've got Dawnbreaker of Smiting as our ultimate. For the back bar, we've got Power of the Light. This basically charges up damage over 6 seconds. What makes Stamplar really strong is this ability, especially in a small group setting. It's going to copy damage from your entire team, not just from you. So make sure you apply this as much as possible. Extended Ritual, this is our Purify skill. So it'll cleanse you from 5 harmful effects, really nice. It does cost a lot of magicka, so don't use it too much. But then it also places down this huge defensive area of effect which snares enemies. So if you're engaged with a group, consider putting this down first to kind of slow all your targets down before you go offensive. Next up is Repentance. This is really good because of the health and stamina it restores for each body. And in Battlegrounds, no CP, which is what I play mostly, there's just bodies dropping all the time. So this is your sustain as a Stamplar. You don't need huge regen. You saw I only have like 1,500. A little bit more with my potion, but this is what sustains the build primarily. If you're doing your job, which is killing enemies and helping your group kill enemies, this is your sustain. It'll keep you going. 3 or 4 bodies, will get you from half stamina to full right away. So it's really good. Rally is a personal choice. I went with Rally instead of Forward Momentum because we do have the Purge, so I can purge roots and snares with this. And then I just felt like I needed a burst heal on this build. I'm not using Troll King. I'm using an offensive monster set, so Because of that, I really need the extra heal on my back bar. You always want this active before you start a fight. Make sure you pop it. And then you don't want to use it. You want to save it until you get low health, okay? And until the timer ticks down. So don't use it unless it's at about, 10 seconds or less, because the longer you wait, the bigger the burst heal is. Something to keep in mind there. Our fifth skill is Restoring Focus. This is our defensive rune, so we get our resistance buffs and minor vitality and minor protection. So it's really good. It'll help you stay alive. And then our ultimate here, this is for keeping us and our group alive. It's Remembrance. So 7k health every second is really good. Plus you get major protection and a bunch of extra resistances from our passive. Alright, let's check out our champ points really quickly. In the green, 40 into Warlord, 35 into Sprinter. You get a lot out of Sprinter. 20% reduced sprint is going to help us build a lot. We're sprinting almost always. 56 Tenacity, 11 Arcanist, 64 Mooncalf. Just some extra points here. 31 Tumbling, 1 Befoul, 2 Shadow Ward. 11 into Blessed. 51 Master Arms. This does buff things like Dawnbreaker, so it is good to have that in there, even though we're doing mostly damage over time. We got 8 Physical Weapon Expert, 20 into Shattering Blows for those damage shield users. 51 into Thumb, there's your jabs and rending slashes. 23 Precise Strikes, 32 Piercing, 43 into Mighty. In the red tree we got 51 Ironclad, 33 Resistant. 56 into Hardy, 49 into Elemental. Remember, as a Templar, you have built-in spell resistance, so you can put less here. 16 into Thick-Skinned. Not a lot there because you can purge dots, but sometimes you won't have enough magic to do that, so a little bit there helps. And then just 3 Expert and 32 into Quick Recovery. Okay, just a couple tips here on the build. Let's talk about surviving first. So you want to make sure you have your rune down, because you get minor mending. Okay, so that increases your heals by 8%, which is not bad. Let me get some dudes here. So that minor mending is going to buff your rally and your vigor. And then we have already high base crit. So you can see just with vigor, I can out heal. That's just vigor. So again, always have your ritual down. Then your rally, that's your burst heal. So let's say that you are getting low. You want to make sure that you conserve the rally, block, use your vigor. But then when you do get low, that's what rally is for, that's your burst heal. So I'm going to let vigor fall off, take some damage here. Make sure your minor mending is up for that vigor heal, it's going to be huge. There we go, back to full almost on my rally. So that's basically how you stay alive. That's just with the ritual. Obviously you want to add your rune focus also, because now I'm even tankier. So yeah, the ability to out heal and sustain on the build is really good. Remember just to conserve that rally for when you need it. And get rid of these guys. Okay, in terms of offense, get one more here. So in terms of offense, make sure your rally is buffed for your weapon damage, and then always lead off with your Power of the Light. on your back bar, and then you want to combine that with a light attack to get your weapon power buff. Just like that. And then from there, we're going to go into light attack, rending slashes. Bar swap, rending slash, and then jabs. You should get it in about 2 jabs before power of the light goes off. One more time. One more time here. He's already dead. Let me try one more. Come here. Okay. Part of the light. Light attack. Rending slashes, jabs. I don't think my power of the light went off. Let me try again. And you got your javelin there just to chase down people. Rending slash, jabs, and then it should all explode right there. From there you got your execute, which is Steel Tornado. And obviously you can put your Dawnbreaker in. Try to save Dawnbreaker for when you have groups. Okay, I think that's about it. I think, let's see, did I mention the potions? So we do have the speed potions on the build. Essence of Speed, so with your medicinal use passive, you can have this up 100% of the time. And you can see this makes you really fast. This is 30% movement speed on top of your medium armor, on top of sprinting. So that'll help you kind of chase people down. Nobody should be able to get away from you. You can just hit them with a javelin, stun them, and then go into your offense. Alright, that's how you play the build. Alright everybody, thanks for watching the video. That's gonna basically do it for this build. And I do have some changes in mind coming up soon for the summer set, Stamina Templar. There's one set actually that I think was actually made for Stamina Templars. I think it's gonna make the build even stronger. The new name for the build, I'll just let you know, it's gonna be called Ferocity. And maybe that'll give you an idea of what set I'm gonna change out. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. So if you haven't, feel free to subscribe to the channel. That way you can see those new builds as they come out. And until then, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.